What's up, everyone? This is going to be my new cooking channel. I also have a video game channel. It's not very good, but this is going to be a cooking channel with cooking with beer, grilling with beer, stuff like that. Today we're going to do cooking. Seeing how St. Patty's Day is right around the corner, we're going to go ahead and make shepherd's pie. What you're going to be needing, I'll be showing you in a second, so stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy. Here is what you're going to be needing. You're going to need at least 2 pounds of ground beef. If you're feeding people up to 6 to 8 people, you can do 1 pound of ground beef if you have a small family. Packet of green peas. All you need is 1 package. You can be for a small family or a big family too. You're going to need 1 small white onion. You're going to be using the whole thing. 3 packets of mashed potatoes. I went with loaded baked potatoes, so it has cheese, herbs, and all that stuff in there. And then you have the baby red to mix and some color in there. And then you're going to need some Worcestershire sauce, however you say it. This is going to be going on the ground beef. And of course, extra stout Guinness for the beef, preferably unopened. Went with fresh carrots, not frozen carrots, because a lot of people hate frozen carrots because how they taste or feel. So we're going to go ahead with baby carrots. It's going to be a lot easier since it's already peeled. And then we're going to go with some grated cheese. I already have Mexican style blended cheese from previous dinners. This is going to go on top of it, the shepherd's pie, for a nice healthy cheesy meal, you know. Alright, now that we got all our ingredients, we're going to go ahead and start prepping. We're going to heat up the pan. Now you can use either oil or you can use butter for sauteing the vegetables. That's what we're going to first thing we're going to cook. That way we can soften it up and it'll be a lot easier to eat. Alright, we're going to start off by chopping the carrots. See how we need to cook this first because it's going to take longer to cook. You want to put the onions last because this is going to cook very fast because they're a lot thinner. We got all our carrots cut up, a good decent amount. Pan's already getting hot, oil's hot. Sorry if the camera's gonna be a little shaky. I didn't think about setting it up a good setup, see from above. So it's gonna be a little difficult. I think this is ahead. Fuck it. Excuse my language. Alright, so while those are sauteing, we're going to go ahead and throw in the peas. Yeah, it seems like a lot of peas, but believe me, if you're cooking for a big family, you're going to need a big dish. So right now we got it on medium heat, and we're gonna let that saute while we cut the onion. Alright, we're gonna get started on the onion. Cut the end off. Get all the skin off. You don't want that in your food. People will be very upset. This is not edible. Go figure, right? All the skins are edible. Got the skin off, let's go ahead and throw this away so it won't get mixed up. Now, I am still perfecting how to cut an onion properly, but I'm going to go ahead and do the rings. I'll dice them up. So it should look something like that, nicely diced. No big pieces. We're gonna go ahead and check on the carrots and peas. Yeah, it's getting a good sweat on. Oh, I'm already making a mess. Yeah. Now I recommend going with butter because it's going to taste better. You can feel free to put any seasonings that you would want. I prefer pepper and salt. That way it really brings out the flavor. Plus it'll react well with the beef. Alright, as you can see, the carrots and peas are coming out nicely. And you get it nice and golden brown. You don't want to cook them too much, otherwise they'll burn. It's not going to taste right. I recommend sauteing it for about, I would say 10 minutes. It should loosen it up a bit, get a good sweat on. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and throw the onions in. Again, poor planning. It's going to end badly, I just know it. I'm going to get the rest off. Okay, now we got the onions in. Go ahead and make sure they're broken up a bit because I know they tend to stick to each other. Mix it up really well. I'll say give it about another 5 to 10 minutes until they're nice and golden brown. And then we're gonna add the ground beef, of course. At this point, you can go ahead and add Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire, whatever you say. That will go ahead and absorb in there. That way when you put in the beef with the vegetables, it's going to go ahead and fuse with it, and then you're going to add some more to the beef and the vegetables. And then now there's going to be like leftover oil or water or whatever the hell comes out of beef, and you're going to go ahead and drain that. And you're going to go ahead and put some more Worcestershire sauce. What you need is about, I think it was 2 tablespoons worth. Since it does have like a spray nozzle or like a single pump thing, so it's gonna be like, I'll say you give it 4 tosses in there. Alright, so now we're letting this saute for a bit. As I was putting in the Worcestershire sauce, I did put like 8 in there. I want to get like a good color with it. It'll bring out the flavor with the pepper and the salt. Go ahead and let that sit for 5 minutes, toss it around for a bit, and then it'll be good to go. And then we're going to go ahead and go to the ground beef, and then we're going to have 2 pounds if it's a 6 or plus family. 6 to 8, I'll say. I shouldn't say plus. If it's anything smaller than that, go ahead and put 1 pound. It should be fine for a small family. Measured out 2 pounds of ground beef. This is a 5-pound package of ground beef. I don't know how to measure out right. I just eyeball it and try and measure with my hands. That way I can get the proper measurements. So if you have a scale, that will work out too. But this should be about 2 pounds. My hands are clean, don't worry. Yeah, food safety, right? You know. Believe me, I worked some cooking jobs and I know how to do food safety and all that, but my hands are already washed, so we should be fine. Most of the germs are gonna be cooked off anyways. So we're gonna go ahead and mix this in. I'm gonna wash my hands. I'll be back to recording, don't worry. So when this starts getting golden brown, we're gonna go ahead and throw in the Worcestershire sauce, and then we're gonna put half a bottle of Guinness. I think I've drank about half already. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in there and let it simmer. Keep it at a medium heat all the way through. That way we get a slow cook, and that way every bit of the flavors can like really soak in and we don't burn anything. So this is what it should look like after you put in the ground beef. We're gonna let that cook for, I don't know, 5, maybe 10 minutes. See how it's medium heat. It's gonna take a little bit longer, but that's how you get perfection with patience. But you're gonna wait until it's a nice brown color. That way you know it's fully cooked, but it's okay if it's a little pink because we're gonna be throwing in the oven at the end when we put on the mashed potatoes and cheese and stuff like that, so we can get it that all melted in all together and the juices can actually saturate and actually build up in the meat and the vegetables. Also, if you don't have a big enough pan to hold vegetables and meat together, you can go ahead and if you don't want to waste pans either, if you don't want to wash too much, you can go ahead and take the vegetables out and, well, I guess you're going to have to use another dish. You can put it in a bowl or whatever in the situation that you need it to be, and then you can just cook your ground beef by itself. I recommend putting it together, so get a big enough pan for this situation. That way all the flavors can be together. Should look something like this. Nice light brown. All the juices are cooking up in there. So now all that flavor's trapped in there. There's a lot of leftover oil. You don't want that in your food for final results, because then it's just going to be too greasy. So we're going to go ahead and drain this. It's going to take 2 hands. I'll be back. You never want to pour directly down the drain, because that will clog up your sink. What I use is old pasta jars. Go ahead and pour that in there as careful as possible so you don't burn yourself. That way it just stays in there, and then when you finally fill it up, you can just throw it out. That way you don't have to pay for plumbing, you don't have to pay for chemicals, stuff like that. Now it's time for the half of the bottle. I already drank the other half. So we're going to get a new bottle. We're going to pour about half of it. Now it's a dark bottle, you can't really see. But when it levels out, that's about, okay. That's about half. Alright, and then we're gonna use the Worcestershire sauce, a terrible sauce, whatever the hell it is. We're gonna go ahead and do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And we're gonna let that cook over time. Make sure all the flavors are getting soaked up in the beef and the vegetables. So the carrots should be a little bit soft by now. I know they're frozen peas, so those got cooked really quick. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on a low heat. So we just let that simmer for a bit. Now we're going to work on the mashed potatoes. These are instant mash, so it should only take about, I don't know, 5 minutes. So that'd be really quick. Probably want to let this soak up for a bit. I don't know. I'd say 10 minutes. And give it enough time to cook up. If it's not all cooked off or soaked in, whatever the situation may be, you can go ahead and drain it, and otherwise you can keep it in there. You can put it in the pan, or the glass dish I should say, and then we're going to put it in the oven. It'll soak up even more. It's just leftover water on the bottom type of thing, and yeah. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Water's finally boiled. We're going to add 3 packets full of instant mash. After you pour it in, you want to turn off the heat right away, because it's already going to cook really fast. And with that, you're going to need a fork. If you want to make it nice and fluffy, you can go ahead and use a spoon. If you want a little bit chunky, it's up to you really. This is ending badly. I'm going to sit you down for a second. Alright, sorry about that. Alright. Now for per packet is 2 cups of water, so you want to measure out exactly for per packet. So you want 6 cups of water in here, get it to a boil. Ooh, it's going everywhere now, it's getting thick. That way you have consistency, and you won't have that powdered taste. Believe me, these mashed potatoes are really bomb. Tastes like a real thing. You can go ahead and use regular potatoes. You can cut them down into quarters and cook it in a big pot. Probably want, I don't know, around 4 to 6 potatoes. And you want to cook them down for about 20 minutes, get all the starches out, and then you want to get a masher. It's kind of like, let's see if I have it. I don't think I have it anymore. It's kind of wavy type of thing. You should know what it is, but I don't see it anymore. I got thrown out. Bam. You can do it that way. Actually, that's the best way. Just go with that. Go out and get a masher. I don't know the exact name of it. That's what you want to use. So at this point, mashed potatoes are ready. And then the beef that we're letting simmer, managed to store most of the juices and beer and stuff like that. So it's going to be good to go. We're going to go ahead and preheat the oven to 400. Cook a little faster. We're going to wait for that to heat up. So in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and prep it into the dish. As you can see, I have 3 different types of dishes. And since it's a big family, I'm going to need the biggest dish. Ooh, that was loud. God, it didn't break. So I'm going to go ahead and wash this. I don't know how long it's been sitting in there. Let's see in a minute. Alright, so the first thing you're going to be doing is putting it in the ground beef and vegetables. You want that at the bottom, and of course you want the potatoes at the top. Don't know why, but that's just how it is. Make sure that's all in there. Put that in the sink. Alright, you want to spread it out. You want a good even layer. That way the mashed potatoes will go on nice and smooth. There we go. Alright, now we're going to get the mashed potatoes. Alright, here's our finished mashed potatoes. Go ahead and scoop that out on top. You want a good even layer. The smoother the better, really. I know some people like chunky, I know I do. But in this case, you want smooth as possible. That way it's easily spread, just like frosting on a cake. But then again, this is shepherd's pie, so... Alright, it's a lot of mashed potatoes, so it's going to take a second. I want to make sure I get all of it. Don't want to waste any of it. Put that in the sink. Alright, so you want to spread it out nice and even. It will tend to stick, so you just, if it does that, just go ahead and pat it and then scrape off the edges. That way you get a new layer on there. Oops, wrong way. Ooh, spilling off the edge. This one's so good. I can't wait for this. And I don't think I put enough water in this mashed potatoes, so it's kind of like it's dry a little bit. Alright, that's good enough. Spill some on the floor. Awesome. Alright, so we're gonna put that off to the side, and then we're gonna go ahead and get our cheese. Alright, so you want a good healthy layer of cheese on top. That way everyone gets some. Don't put it all in the middle. Want to make sure you cover every corner. And you know what I just forgot? The tomato paste. Starting the video, I forgot the tomato paste. Alright, so with the tomato paste, I know I messed up, my bad. Been drinking. I don't condone it, especially underage. You want to cook the vegetables and the beef. On that step, you want to put the tomato paste in there. You want about half a little can of tomato paste. I think it's around $1, maybe 79 cents, something like that. So you want to cook that in there so you get good zesty acid in there. Break down the fats. Good. Alright, so we already have the oven preheated. And we're going to go ahead and pop this in the oven. And we're going to see the end result. Alright, So now we have it in the oven, and you want to keep it in there for about, I'll say 10 minutes. And I know it's a common number for me. Sorry, I got mashed potato in my hand. 10 minutes should give enough time to melt down the cheese and have the potato and the meat and all the vegetables mixed in together. I wish I could really put the tomato paste. That's what brings up the flavor. Yeah, so I'll see you in a second. Alright, here is the end result. Nice and cheesy all the way around. Everything's fully cooked. Should put tomato paste with the meat. I wish I freaking did. But this is what it should look like. Nice and small, size of the palm. About 79 cents, I think. Yeah, so here it is. Alright, so that's shepherd's pie cooking with Guinness. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned. I'll be having more videos coming out next week.